And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We saw DNMK Esports take the first map on Mirage quite convincingly, and now we're on to the second. Will Online Kingdom bounce back, or will DNMK Gaming continue with their strong performance? Only time will tell. So, Golds, let's kick some tires and start some fires.
Again, beautiful intro there, Tools, and yeah, exactly that. Online Kingdom looking to bounce back. This is their map pick, but I did see in the chat, and I must kind of agree, this is definitely one of DNMK's stronger maps. It's not like it's a weak point. They've definitely left it in the veto for a reason, and ultimately this is definitely a tall mountain to climb for Online Kingdom. But that said, they want to go to train. We wanted to go to train, of course, being the first grand final here on day one. But again, tall mountain to climb, but yeah, I'm looking forward to this match.
Indeed, I'm also looking forward to this matchup. DNMK Esports, we have seen in ESEA and VES and in Corsi that do have a strong Inferno Online Kingdom. I'd be holding my breath if that was them. We're going to jump into the knife round, figure out who's starting on which side. So I just want to dial it back a little. Goals on a map like an Inferno, right? Personally, I'm not a big fan of teams picking this map because, like I alluded to earlier, most people know how to play this map. Most people know the little tips and tricks with set pieces indicate what's actually going on. So one DNMK was smart in the sense of floating Inferno. You never really want to ban Inferno, but as a team or a player, you never want to pick it either. You kind of want to pick a map that you specialize in, that you know for certain you're going to get your W to actually push it to the third map. You shouldn't, be banking on that map to win you the series, if you get me.
No, 100%, and especially like we've spoken about the level that, of this map being played on a local level, and it is definitely the highest and the most played. So it definitely makes sense if it is not absolutely your opponent's, well, if you it's undisputed your map, which I don't think Online Kingdom could necessarily say. They could have left it for third, but obviously they feel comfortable. They probably had some success throughout today's tournament and in previous matchups. So they decide to take the battle on Inferno. So let's just see how that goes. We did have some concerns about their CT side, so here they'll be able to convince us differently and start on that CT side, perhaps get themselves some momentum.
It's one of those maps where your CT side is a lot easier than other maps like Inferno. Like Mirage previously, there's just too much there's more variables on, I'd say, Mirage than there is on Inferno for CT. So you kind of just have your narrow choke point in Banana. You kind of just put a smoke there, and the T's can't run through unless they're crazy or have a really insane strategy. There's this bulk, which again is a narrow choke
crazy
point.
Or lately.
Crazy. I like that. And middle as well. The choke points are a bit wider, but it's quite hard and difficult for T's to punch through without giving away information or a life. So we'll see how Online Kingdom fare on the CT side. DNMK Esports, they're going to be hitting hard, and I wouldn't be surprised if they hit him with the pace. We've already seen they got a double smoke and Molotov. If I'm guessing correctly, this seems like they're heading towards B. Smoke Coffin, Smoke CT, Molly Dark, Molly Family, or Molly First, Second Orange, and Molly Family. But only time will tell. As we jump straight into the first round of this map, Inferno. Score is 1-0 in the favor of DNMK. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Does look like your call, your feeling was correct here. We see all 5 players of the T side move up towards Banana. No real aggression from the CTs to identify this, so it is going to be up to the CTs, the current holders of that B side. They do have a third play in place. Oh, the defenses get dinked and mollied out. It's beautiful entries coming out of DNMK Esports here. Making absolute wreckage on the CT hold, and quite a bit of damage done already. Bomb is down, and post-plant positions will be approached.
If I'm being very honest with you, a full save should be called right now. There's no way to get into the site unless DNMK gives them on a platter their heads, and it doesn't seem so. They're looking poised as ever. They're looking clinical. They're looking clean goals. Heartbreak. Pivoting and turning and picking up headshots left, right, and center. Lately finishes off with the last 2 kills and strong start, strong strategy. I didn't see how it would fail goals. I honestly didn't.
I think the fundamental basis there for your lack of belief in the retake was just the fact that there was no Banana, there was no bets hedged on Banana, and if you just have that complete site control with all the angles covered and CTs don't really have util to get you out, it becomes incredibly difficult because it's only close range duels really, and that's exactly what we saw there. And DNMK Esports, obviously a clinical team, and they made it look just that, an absolute clinic there on the pistol round, and converted it quite easily. Now it's all up to the submachine guns. They do have an AK-47 on Nexus, but CTs have only got Deagles and armor to work with.
Yeah, Deagles and armor there. I like that they picked up 3 smokes in fact, so at least they can buy themselves some time to maybe force mistakes coming out of Dynamic, but like I said earlier, it doesn't seem likely at this point in time. Sheer almost picking himself a Juandig there. Pretty confused as to why they didn't really fully invest. If you're going to force buy, you force buy, you know what I mean? Get that body armor going, and most of the players, destroying his head like a watermelon heartbreak onto Sheer. And they're going to wrap into that A site here. Not much Kanana can do. The Ump was one of those guns when 2014 everybody was buying. But now it just seemed to die out throughout the years, but it seems to be back. The reason why I think it disappeared was the difficulty in the spray control with the Ump. But if you can get the spray control right, it's not too expensive, it's not too cheap either. You know, a headshot does about plus minus 60, 70 damage. So I like the Ump in the mix. But more movement speed on the Mac 10. More movement speed on the Mac 10.
Yeah, I'm a fan. Mac 10, it's been my gun for years. And that's why you can just jump around the corners and get the frags. And it's exactly why we like it. It's very difficult to track and to kind of adjust that cursor when not only if there's one person wide stepping, but 2 as well. And ultimately, either way, though, didn't really matter. You know, UMP or Mac 10, Dynamic deliver 2-0 now, and this forces a full eco save here from Online Kingdom. Nothing but single P250 and a flash. We see them all grouping up together, and this is I like this. You know, this is what I want to try and do. Have an objective for your anti-eco rounds or your save rounds, and you know, execute it. But they get an even trade there. That's not too bad. But obviously they're well aware.
The bomb's in T-spawn. It's surrounded, but the teams are doubling back, and these smokes are just gonna give them access. I thought it would be more dangerous than it is, goals. I thought it would be more dangerous than this round is.
Chappie's made it all the way through CT already. That is insane. He's already on the flank, and he's going to catch all of these players absolutely unaware. And again, just more money in the bank there for Dynamic. It is only round 4 and over 5k on most of the players. So strong start for them once again here.
Saddest part about that round for me, goals, is Kanane didn't really get to use his Zeus. And I really do enjoy my Zeus kills, goals. Sound effects, the sheer pain in a person's soul when they Zeused. Brilliant. Absolute brilliant. But we get the first gun round of the half, goals. Let's see what action unravels and unfolds here for us.
Yeah, we do see the AWP up on Ruben, and it seems like the T's have kept quite a few of their submachine guns as well, so they're not going to have a response to the AWP other than the util that they have, and so far Dynamic have shown depth in that department, so shouldn't be too much of an issue for them. But they are going to be using some of that util to retake Banana.
I feel Fall should be playing at least towards the CT side. He is deciding when to use that smoke. He does deploy it right now. As you can see, the rotation is coming out of Rig so far, and that just leaves them with little to no utility left. At least Rig has got full utility. He's rotating over to that B side. So if he can put this smoke down around the 50-minute mark, it would be good. But I think Dynamic is just going to wait this smoke out and exec onto the side afterwards. There's the Molotov left, so it is going to be a bit difficult for Dynamic, and that's where we go. They literally use the utility Dynamic Esports to bait out that Molotov, and now they're going to go into a site with defenseless CTs that just have a gun and a dream to work with, but they're going to bolster up that defense with 3 players. I like the little change there. He pushes the smoke, he tags the man down into 40 HP.
This allows this flank from Heartbreak to be absolutely devastating, and there he decides to strike, and strike hard he does, but CT defense is broken, it's battered, it's bruised tools, and ultimately they make it look easy once again.
Can I just show you the hardest role on this map for me is as the CT rotates around the player playing in Arch, because one, you got to be at the right time at the right place. So if they're going towards B, you got to try get there in time to either support the B players with the flash, you got to support the A players with utility, and then the second part is not giving away information on that rotation. So again, the third player rotated over, gave away so much sound cues that it just opened up the flank coming out of Chappie, and you can see what happens. You can see what that does to a team. Breaks them apart and forces you to save with 2 players on that A site. At least they did save. At least they can go into the next round with some armory and weaponry to work with goals.
Yeah, agreed. And although they do manage to kind of maintain or hold those guns, I feel like a little bit of activity on that A bomb site was what they needed. They needed to clear that middle. As soon as they let go of their util towards that banana area, they just had to kind of make a move or clear or get some sort of information outside of the place that they were taking that sort of contact, and that makes that flank just unbelievably successful. But 4-0, another buy round here, full money loss bonus here for the side of Online Kingdom, so economy should be flowing, but they need to get around soon.
This is what I like. They're taking the game to them. They're putting some aggression up onto DNMK Esports, but full so blind, he can't see anything. The man sprays him down through the smoke, and it just leaves Rig all alone in that B side with no utility. A Thermos, which is a gun personally that betrays me time and time again. Goals, what do you do now if you're Online Kingdom? Where do you take the next point of aggression? Because you have to aggress somewhere. You need information.
Still able to hold on to middle here, so that's just the only kind of bright light, but I believe that DNMK will take that away from them very shortly before they hit Banana. But I love this rotation. This is picture perfect stuff. Just group up after that initial frag, complete silence across the map, and you can see the CTs are just have no clue where these Ts are, and they're kind of gambling on their side tools.
I'm a big fan of this. I like what Online Kingdom are doing. If Rig can get 2 kills or 1 kill here, the retake's on. If he can't and the exec does come in, they save. But he does get his kills. So the retake does commence. You can see players wrapping down Banana. If they can just slow down the bomb 2 more seconds, it allows the people in Banana to get more space, but he gets spammed through his smoke. What is smoke to the man? But the flank is coming hot and heavy. Ruben picks up Heartbreak, but the trays does come in. CT spawn is wide open to set up your post plants if you are DNMK Esports. It is a 2v3. Oh, what do you do in this situation? You kind of need the rounds, but at the same time, you can't lose the weaponry. You kind of have nothing after this. They're going to continue to the retake there. Chipping down Ruben into 29 HP. He's spamming. He needs to pick up another gun, and they're out. Ruben is out of there, and he rings the bell, and he calls to save.
Yeah, I think good call.
Gentleman's agreement.
I think it was a good call. Get out. They were able to get that first initial entry, but unfortunately they lost that duel early in the round that left them wanting in terms of the man disadvantage there. So again, just another beautiful group up and execute play from DNMK to put their 5th round on the board. Of course, pressure starting to mount on the CTs to get some rounds, but also on the economy. You can see they do have the AWP this round, so I'd like to see them get a bit aggressive, maybe look down middle and kind of just stop this map control that DNMK are establishing at the start of each round.
I would like to see some 3-man brutal banana control coming out from Online Kingdom on AWP pop flash, at least just to try pick up a kill, try get an opener, because they're not getting any openers. I feel that's the biggest problem for them at the moment. Once you lose a man on the CT side, you kind of already put in a situation of stress, a situation of uncertainty where you have to actually risk your life to go get information, to go get that space for your team, and ultimately just even out the scoreboard. But we do see some sort of bait utility coming out of DNMK just to force the CTs just to bleed that out. 3 players sitting around Ducky. I do like the setup, but that just leaves lane vulnerable, leaves archers vulnerable for the wrap. You can really see rotations coming out of Rig. This Molotov, the man, just going to peek and prod, and they're going to set up the next set piece.
I love to see the change of pace and the ability for DNMK to just change. Huge frags from Ruben. Taking all the duels, and this is what Online Kingdom needed. You spoke about getting those early frags, and they've managed to do that, and it's all up to Lately now. Has to get an insane sequence of frags here to rescue this round. He starts with 1. Gets the pick onto Rig. It's going to give his position away and allow for the B player to kind of get a bit closer and trap him in a bit more. But see the respect given here by Online Kingdom. They understand the situation they're in, and they don't want to give Lately an inch, because based on, 7 HP means nothing to the man. He will go and push through and take every single head or opportunity that he gets. So he's going to save the weapon though. Got quite a
good round. I really liked how aggressive Ruben was. He did take his chances through the smoke, and chances net your results. So he picks up 2 kills there to open up, and I'm happy it was the AWP to net that result. It just speaks to the importance of the gun in itself, and ultimately allows them to just bolster up the economy moving forward. DNMK, they're sitting with the most money over here, 9k, 6k, 5k, 2k, so they can practically buy for the next 3 rounds. Even if they lose, the loss bonus will accumulate and give them another chance moving forward. So they've done themselves well so far. 5-1 is the scoreline to DNMK.
Bit of a switch up here, a little dual setup for the CTs, and it's going to pick off Nexus. Quickly get out of there though. No real response from Dynamic, not really in a position to do so.
You can start to see the confidence coming out of Online Kingdom. I mean, the AWP picking up 2 kills earlier, the setup in Boiler. They're making plans, they're thinking. You could see calculations ticking through their brain to come up with solutions of how to open up the round and then close it out towards the end. B exec coming out, and now it's a pop flash actually, so it gives them no time to respond. A play sitting in first orange and family. The flash pushes them out. Rick pushes the smoke, gets a kill and escapes. Brilliant goals. 3v4 retake.
Yep, it is a trade, and CTs were at an advantage, so fairly decent here of Dynamic to actually get hold of this B site, and it's going to come down to the CTs retake and how they go about it. They don't have that flank coming in from Banana, but of course Dynamic not too sure if that is the case. So right now they're kind of looking for Jules, the man looking to take fights, but eventually he gets taken out from graveyard area. Another frag goes there well as well. It's up to Heartbreak. He gets the first 2, and now the remaining players are coming into pressure. He can readjust, gets himself into a good post-plant position. If he can deal with that play, he cannot. Online Kingdom managed to secure the second round consecutively, and they start up their CT campaign here, and still so much money in the bank of Dynamic, but they managed to make the best of a situation. They're not able to convert the round, but Online Kingdom with that retake secure their second.
Now Dynamic is I wouldn't say on the back foot, but they're gonna be thinking, what is the next setup? Where's the next aggression coming out of Online Kingdom? And just make sure they have to be a bit cautious than usual in their approach. Lately, already been taken down to 50 HP. He is the Banana aggressor, but he's alone, and the rest of them be pushing up middle. Lovely pop flash towards Daki. Isolation station for Nexus. No one's there to trade. No one home. That's again a good opener for Online Kingdom, as well as towards Banana lately getting taken out. He's kind of forced forward by the Molotov, so Online Kingdom, the juices are flowing, goals. The juices are flowing, and another AWP kill coming out of Kanene. They're falling apart one by one. They need to stop the bleed Dynamic. They need to just group up together and make some solid decisions, collaborative decisions. I felt like someone else should have pushed to that smoke with Nexus, but yeah.
It looked like they were going to, and right at the last second, as that flash was coming through, you could just see that the player decided to throw down a smoke or pop change the utility that he wanted to deliver, and ultimately that made it a bit broken. And once that player kind of goes through the smoke, like, you know, you're kind of stuck in that position of, you know, now it's too late, like I'm going to just run through here and probably die, but then you don't get the trade, you know. So ultimately, just a little bit of miscoms or a little bit of a lack of understanding between the two players of how important it was to kind of push together there. So
yeah, the man does really clutch these. He does clutch these. He's got a Molotov 1 choke point. He's able to get the bomb down at least. He needs to find that 1v1 versus Shia. He needs to find it now before the rest of the players come in. He found
Whoa!
Double taps the second of the head. Shia holds on strong to that garden hose. Finally takes out the man. Now, shopping trip for Shia. Yeah. Upgrades to an AWP. He missed a grenade there. He did miss a grenade there right by Graveyard. I felt like he needed it. I felt like he needed the goals.
Yeah, well, considering how expensive this round became and the position that they were in, he definitely needs to take whatever he can. But I mean, at the very least, they net another round on the board, and they must be feeling like they're putting some sort of pressure now on the T side's economy and confidence. You can see Dynamic not running with the same zizz that they were at the start of this map and the previous one.
Yeah, it's hard. So when you look at Dynamic Esports, they're used to winning those opening frags, right? They're used to winning out their clutches, but now that's not going for them. So how do they change up their style? How do they change up their play? What is the next step for them? I'm gonna group up towards the middle. No sound cues off yet, but the Molly should call out that they are establishing their dominance on middle. Brackets control to be more accurate. It seems like they're pretty cautious at the moment. They don't want to lose the play without getting a trade, so you can see why they're huddled up quite closely to each other. No one's in Banana. No presence has been set there yet. They've done that in the condition the CTs in the previous round, so I understand why there's no one there. But how do they maneuver themselves around this A site here? They've based it out majority of the CT utils, so the step one is complete. It is 50-second mark, and they're barreling back towards the B side. Just want to have a look at, is there another smoke? There is another smoke on Falls. This is hard. I think they might just go for a B wrap. I think that should be the call and that should be the play.
It does look, that is the picture that is being painted here, but the clock is ticking, and right now, Online Kingdom have numbers towards that B side. It does look like a little bit of a switcheroo fake here, Tools.
The double fake goals. I haven't seen this since NAM. And they're going to walk into the side. It's down to Sheer and it's down to Kanene. Sheer's going to just accurately place his first bullet. This is the second two. Oh, heartbreak. Punches through that A side to nets them a bomb plant and ultimately nets them this round. 3-man save coming out of Online Kingdom, and I do like that double fake coming out of Dynamic. I just felt if Online Kingdom were to move around and sort of transition into a rotation or setup, the eyes need to be a lot more open, and they need to get earlier information as to what's happening in middle. They kind of need to prod brackets before they go towards that B side. Yeah. It was convincing from Dynamic Esports that it was a B hit there, but ultimately they pull the wool over the eyes and then hit themselves the 6th run on the board. Dynamic Esports, this is the T side, this is the easier or the harder side on the map like Inferno, so they're sitting pretty at the moment, goals. They're sitting pretty.
Yeah, I must agree with what you said there about them or that lack of information towards the late round to kind of figure out where the side hit is happening. But again, can't really take away much from Online Kingdom when you have to say, or you have to kind of give the props to Dynamic Esports for that quick and fast rotation. I mean, it was such a big sell. They even sold us tools. We weren't even sure what the hit was, where the final bomb site was. So props to them. Their 6th round on the board for Dynamic, and they continue their T campaign here.
And I thought ultimately that's why I do love Counter-Strike. That's why I do enjoy casting. I always kind of try predict what's going to happen next, and in that situation they had me fooled. Kind of allured to that. It was a great strategy. It was a great train of thoughts, and ultimately that's what they needed. Ruben again picking up the first kill with that AWP. Too easy for him. Nexus just felt like he needed to jiggle peek there a lot quicker, or just wide swing and take the duel, but just showing off his body. I think he was prepping himself for a jiggle peek or a wide swing, but the Nexus beaten to it. Kanene is a bit isolated here in middle, so when the smoke fades, he's going to get himself a 1-on-1 duel. I think this could be a turning point in this round. The pop flash does come out to support him, but he doesn't really capitalize on it. Now it's just a bare man-on-man, hand-on-hand duel. If granted, that is.
But now the difference in this round, you can see that Dynamic are doubling back, moving back towards the B side, but now Online Kingdom have control and eyes and vision on middle, so they should have an idea that this is happening. They've managed to clear the partners or hold it. They are able to swing that final play over towards that B side, but will he get into position in time? You can see the hit is ever so pending now. There comes the molly. Nade out through, big pick from Rig, but the man gets the frag onto the boosted player. This allows Ruben to peek, and he does spot a player, doesn't net the shot though, but he adjusts his angle perfectly. The bomb goes down, and he is pressured back by that molly. This is going to give Heartbreak an opportunity to plant that bomb, but they aren't going to let him. No, he gets the bomb down. So a small win there, but well pressured by the CTs, and that's a 4th for Online Kingdom.
This game is actually getting a bit more competitive than I imagined, Close, and I like it. I like it a lot. Was that a team kill there by Lakely, in fact? On the man? Probably blind and held mouse 1 and shook his mouse rapidly.
Yeah, it was quite a chaotic entry into the site there, and quite a bit of damage done from the CTs, so wouldn't be a surprise.
But yeah, falls, the game. Freeze time's over, falls. Freeze time's over. All right, he's making his way towards that B side, and it looks like they're rushing it.
No.
If he's not ready because of that, I will hold my ace. I'll hold my face, goals. They're going to forfeit the site, in fact, due to that late spawn.
They're not committing, though.
Yeah, the utility is just preventing them to do that, but they eventually do get through it. The molly does subside, and they're about to get the bomb down 5v5.
It's the cheapest B-bomb site that Dynamic have had this whole half, and they're going to get into all the juicy positions, but also a wealth of utility here on the CTs. So if they have a structured retake, which I assume they do, considering they kind of were forced into or so easily gave the site, it's going to come down to that. Beautiful flash comes through, though, but Chappie, where the man gets another frag as well. Chappie gets aggressive, and this is just falling apart for all the CTs, but comes down to the last player against 2, but Dynamic with that free entry into the B sites and tools. You spoke about Falls having a late spawn out of, or late movement out of spawn there, and it comes back to bite him and his team.
I still thought that that retake was winnable 5v5, considering how much utility was left on Online Kingdom and only one flash left on Dynamic. If they just slow down that retake a little more, just to coordinate where the utility should be placed and pathing should be set, it could have gone a lot better for them. But ultimately, Dynamic proving to be better in those situations and a lot more composed lately. Just peeking and prodding, letting them know that he's there, setting some dominance. In fact, Sheer and Bulk picks up a kill onto Heartbreak. Does eventually get traded up by Nexus, but for me, how did they recycle that gun? Ruben re-aggresses and picks up a kill there, and Apps. That's making it a bit dicey. All these close nitty-gritty corners allow for escapability there. I feel Ruben's all alone here. He needs to fall back. The man punts him in the chest with the bullet of the AWP, but the flank from Banana, Lately's aware of it. Lately's aware.
Yeah,
he's got a...
Whoa! Bit of a rough flash there. Comes through, able to take that kill. 2v2 now, so this is definitely winnable for the CTs.
This round is weird, goals. It's just super weird. Things just happen, and stuff just unfolds. That's how weird it is. I can't attach actual words that bear meaning. They are gonna slowly pinch towards that B site. The man been giving the obligations to clear our top Banana. And Nexus from bottom Banana. I do like that flash. It's just gonna. I like that flash.
It's beautiful.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Goals. Case proven.
Yeah, clears his angle, and it also distracts for the man, able to get the bomb now to that B site, and the final player gets spotted as well. The man is going to hold the angle, and he does the damage as well, able to readjust and fall back, and this makes Hana's job so much more difficult. Does quite a bit of damage, so now it is something for a job that he can do. Gets the frag. That is insane. The man forced to push out and catches him off guard, looking away from the flash. And what a crazy round indeed.
Wild round. Like I said earlier, girls, a very, very weird round. I felt like after him getting legged, he shouldn't be winning that clutch. But then he gets a crazy Peter Dinklage onto one of the players from Dynamic. And then the man was sitting on 6 HP. They're going to look back at that round and have a little sigh. Just a little one, goals.
Yeah, it looked pretty strange from both sides, but that said, ultimately that was a very, very, very important round for the CT side, as well as the round before that, I guess. But now, just on pistols, can't invest much into this round at all. On the other side of things, though, Dynamic are still under pressure in terms of economy, so this round is equally as important. They need to address this anti-eco with respect and make sure that they convert it if they want to continue their success.
And their patience clearly speaks to how important this round is for Dynamic Esports. Oh, it gets a dink, but no dong there, Chappie. Just recycle who's taking that duel, I think. In fact, he's going to continue. Chappie! Finally falls back. 4 players sitting on that A side. I think Falls did his job. He put so much pressure on 2 Dynamic that it forces them to the waiting arms of the rest of the 4 players, but they just have pistols, goals. Pistols can't do much versus AKs, especially if they don't armor. As we can see, easy cleanup coming out of Dynamic, and that should be the ace site from them. Falls did his job. He did his best.
Yeah, with absolutely nothing. Just bravely peeking with that that little pistol there, and ultimately does enough, but kind of forces the hand of Dynamic, and they send numbers towards middle. After that smoke fades, there's no real advantages left for the CTs, and ultimately, again, Dynamic proving to be clinical on these rounds. We've seen a lot of teams in the past kind of not really approach these rounds as cautiously as they would the guns, and Dynamic not going to fall to that error.
So they have 9 rounds on Dynamic Esports. They've got the job done. They can just rest easy. They can play a bit more loose. They can make a bit more risks because they've won the half. And to win the half, you kind of need 8 rounds, and they got 9. They got the gravy, and now they're just looking for the cherry on top of the gravy. I know it doesn't make sense. It probably wouldn't taste good, but so is life.
Sure, there's someone out there that appreciates cherry on gravy, or gravy on cherry.
I don't know, man. When somebody told me about, what is it, potatoes, and what is that thing? One of the admins, FaZeS, talked about like a lollipop mashed potato.
Oof, I can't remember.
It was super weird. I'm a weird man, so it makes sense. Back to the gun round, guys. Score is 4-9 in favor of Dynamic Esports. They've had a strong half so far. Online Kingdom struggled here and there, but they've managed to pick up a few rounds. Kanene doing his part, doing his job, opening up the round for the boys. They need 5 rounds, but Chappie, destroys Falls there, just peeking that angle, and Nexus does his own in the playing pit. Just leaves the man prodding and probing and picks up the kill with the Tech 9. He had an ult, he didn't need it.
Yeah, Cheer, able to retreat there into the apartments, and that's going to allow his teammate to rotate. But again, there's a fast flank coming from Lately. He's hot on the heels of Rigwao, and this, well, if he can catch him.
Oh!
Yep, that's exactly what that CD is saying. Cheer still stuck in those apartments. And
especially with the HP he's sitting on, guys.
oh. Dirty attempt there on the pre-fire, but Lately wins that duel. He's been a thorn in the side throughout this best of 3. Continues to do so here as DNMK look to convert the 10th round on the T side. And we did say that Inferno was a strong map for the side of DNMK Esports, and they're proving that here on their T side.
Guys, this mashed potato thing's puzzling me. I need to get that phrase. It's burning a hole in my brain. 1 round left of this half. DNMK cruising ahead with 10 rounds on the board. Online Kingdom reduced to bare minimum arms, bits and pieces of utility, pots and pans as it were. 1 kit on rig. I like to see the kit. The kit's important because the kit makes defusing easier.
Yeah, with all the pressures of Counter-Strike, one can never really remember those digits in a kit to kind of help with that. But yeah, last round in the half, and again, DNMK with the opener, but it is traded out. Nexus as well trades that. And now 4v3 now. 2 early frags there for DNMK, and that kind of leaves the A-bomb side very, very weak, and you can see that DNMK are leaning towards the Chappie gets a blind kill as well.
That's the problem with aggressing in apps. You kind of need the trades to go in your favor, especially knowing middle is quite open over there. They didn't put much pressure in middle, no smoke, so it just felt a lot easy for the T to just run up and pick off the player falling out of apps. Now it's down to a 2v4 retake, just a smoke and a flash to try coordinate something, and a scout on Falls, which makes it even harder. If you can just wrap around and pick up a AK or something in apps to make this better, but no, they're going to go and pop flash to activate the retake, and it's just too easy for Lately. Rig, the last man, stuck in a smoke and taken out by Lately. 11 rounds to 4. Strong, dominant performance by DNMK. 15 kills onto the man, 14 kills on Heartbreak, 11 on Chappie, 7 on Lately, 9 on Nexus, and the side of Online Kingdom. 11 on Rig, 7 on Sheer, 9 on Kanene, Ruben sitting on 7, and 4 sitting on 2. And as the AWPer, that's not what you want. It's not what you want, goals.
Yeah, was a tough half, but I mean, he did what he could there towards that B site. But yeah, definitely a bit of a harsh thing to have on the CTE side specifically. But now, let's switch. Oof, dirty shot there coming out of the man. Aggression is the name of the game here on the pistol, using that advantage, or that distance advantage with their pistols. But they're kind of bolstered back into like an app setup where Heartbreak is wielding the PT-50, but Sheer gets a frag.
Yeah, the man a bit too overzealous there, a bit too aggressive for my liking. I mean, he was exposed to middle, exposed to second middle. His teamies and apps didn't really push down to support them. But they got a nice setup in apps here. They should try go for 1-for-1 just to keep it balanced. It is 4v4, so not much movement yet. Nexus does spot a player in apps, tags him down to 38. Just allows the player on apps just to jump up, but there's a player supporting him on stairs, so this triangle of doom is coming to effect right now. Heartbreak, you need a second, and he gets it. He does so. 2 players left for Online Kingdom. They're going to rapidly move towards Palace, try to clear out these remaining players, and they can't. Ruben, he buckles, he forfeits. Now, look, this gives so much space to Lately. Shoots him from behind, execution style Falls. You're all alone. Oh, and he sits on a Molotov. There's so much destruction around him, and that's the second pistol round for DNMK Esports, and it felt easy. I think it felt easy for them, just in imagining how the round played off. The man just swinging apps, taking a kill. The fact that he went for the decision to move down middle, it just felt to him that there's not much pressure on his shoulders. His team's got him, even though if he does, and a full Glock save from Online Kingdom.
Yeah, rightfully so. I mean, they managed to pull that off, despite losing him at the start of the round there. But some another aggression coming here from DNMK, and quite a bit of damage done. Won that battle, won the utility war, but again, there's just nothing purchased here on the T side. They've got little rounds to work with, so they had to save here.
So this is a big difference between the two teams. On the CT start, Online Kingdom were reluctant or didn't really feel like taking aggressive stance on Banana with either 3 players or maximum neutral with 2 players. They kind of just forfeited and then played on the site, which for me, you control Banana, you control the game. That's how I've always seen it, and all versions of Inferno and Banana, and it hasn't really come into fruition from Online Kingdom. So I'd like to see them on their gun rounds put a bit more pressure, a bit more resistance on Banana and force the CTs back, and maybe take apps control simultaneously or take it after. But once they establish that, they can just fix the positioning from the CTs there, and Banana make sure they keep 2 players there and just mess around with rotations on the A side. Bit of theory on the game, just a bit of theory.
Yep, and right now, the full buy round coming out of Online Kingdom, slightly weaker weapons, but it does seem like a fast mid-take. The man getting super aggressive down Banana. You spoke about how strong that is, and it's already paying dividends for Dynamic.
What am I witnessing? Goals, they pushed down Banana with the MP7s. They're in VC. They've taken the positions of the T's. Oh, sheer bosses into the site, and that's what they needed in an opening. And now they can just set up the post plant, get the utility down to be a bit more comfortable. Goals. Oh, holding into that garden holes ever so tightly. Finally nets himself a kill into Ruben. 2v3 retake. Positions kind of favor the retake on Online Kingdom, in fact, but this pop flash out of box just going to give some space for them to move out. Sheer holding it all kind of there, getting threaded out, but lately with the Tufa.
Yeah, huge space created there by the shotgun wielding player. Just makes himself huge, jumping off that balcony, and it allows Lately to get swift frags with that gun that he picked up, traded for that garden hose you spoke of, and just as soon as you look again, suddenly Dynamic just extending that lead even further. 14 rounds now, so starting to close in on that first qualification spot for the Predator Winter Slam.
Yeah, Dynamic looking very strong, and they've sort of done so throughout the qualifications from the round of 32 to the round of 16 to the round of 8 up until this point. Heartbreak, ish. I think that's my analysis of that. Is a solid ish.
Yeah, obviously gets picked off there. I think, what was it, a jump across second, or?
I think he went for the path flash to try and get a kill. Didn't get anything for his efforts, so kind of was stuck in that room and just had to kind of stand tall. But AK's proved to be better. Ray Gomez getting himself a double there. He's gonna fall slightly back into the side. I like the defensive smoke, but they're gonna fish him out there. They're gonna get him, but lately moving around the smoke like fish in water, gets the kill for his efforts there. Makes it a little bit easier for the rest of the players rotating in through Banana. I think they're gonna go for this retake. Nah. Okay. They make the smart, honest, wise choice. Looking at the scoreboard, I personally would have went for this round just to test out my skills, just to see if we got it in us. You know what I mean? 2v4 retake. Can gloat about that for days. They're going to play to win goals, and that's what pros do.
Yeah, for sure. But again, I think the wiser play here, you know, if looking at the economy, Nexus not sitting pretty at all. So he needs to carry this rifle in to the next round for himself, and men of the team will be allowed some sort of cushion as well. But Online Kingdom finally respond here with the round, their first round on the T half.
Finally, you know, it looks scary if you press tab as one of those players in the server, especially in Online Kingdom's behalf, because they got 14 rounds, one round away from match points. If they can just slowly chip away and force Dynamic to eco, just take it one round at a time, I think they can get back into this try hard mode. We haven't seen a single tack pause coming out of either team, so it's either they don't believe in it or they just keep going with momentum. It's very hard. Some teams are reluctant to call for the attack pause because they always think they have a solution. They always think that they know what to do next. But, you know, you keep getting stopped in your tracks. It gets a bit hard. And what about the rest of the players? Maybe they need some breathing room. Maybe they need some space, some time to think.
Yeah, one could argue that a pause certainly was needed at some point across either of the maps, considering the scoreline. But exactly that, Tools, you know, if you don't take that time and, you know, kind of take a step back and give yourself some room, suddenly you blink and the scoreline sitting 14-5 and you've got no more chances left, and the pressure just kind of increases. So must agree with you there, but slow and methodical is the response here from Online Kingdom.
And the man Heartbreak is still banging, right? They shoot top fraggers and Mirage, and as you can see, they're carrying on with their strong performance in this map. So in their mind, they kind of feel like they need to take out those two star players for them to at least have a chance in this round. Heartbreak is going to push right through this smoke, and it's a disaster for Online Kingdom. He pulls out the pistol, but at least Sheer is able to stop the bleed a little, but that doesn't really help them out at all. There's Chappie's there to put the nail on the coffin and give them match points, and 10 match points to work with at that too.
What was that phrase about smokes? What you said?
It's not a smoke, it's an opportunity.
Yeah, well, he took that opportunity with both hands. Heartbreak adding to the tally. His name was just being mentioned for his performance in this game so far. He pulls out a huge 3K that puts his team in a really, really big position.
Gotta give shout out to Nix for that catchphrase. 2020, never forget. Already baiting out Dynamics Esports utility in middle. Heartbreak. He's gonna try to do the same, but no one's home. No one's there to answer him.
But again, it's just about maintaining that bracket's information, and right now, Online Kingdom haven't negated it at all, and Heartbreak is still sitting. He manages to spot Ruben as well. Doesn't get the frag, though. Gets up.
We definitely would have wanted that frag with Ruben. Very fortunate to survive with this life. His 10 HP, he's maxed in. He's able to at least utilize that Molotov, but finally a trade comes out in even favor from Online Kingdom, but the regress continues, and the trades do so too.
Still so much information here for the Banana player. You can see the T's have decided to backtrack all the way. Are leaning towards B, but CT's in quite a good position here. Still got a wealth of Banana control. Being able to spot it there by the car. He's going to be able to see the aggression coming way before the hit is going to take place. So,
looking at one smoke left. I fancy me a B. This pop flash is quite nice. He's going to swing on it. He's going to pick himself up, and nope. He picks himself up, and nope, and the bomb's going to go down. Good CT smoke. Gives him time to set up the post pump there. The rotation is coming in from Chappie.
huge nade.
Oh, Kobe. I like the Kobe. Oh, man, that's going to stop the bomb plant and give more space and room for Chappie to flank. He's going to be there at the right time as the bomb goes down. He takes that frag out, and there's just one man left, Kanana. 2v1, he's sitting by pillar. He's going to have to prod and turn, but the man starts off strong and finishes off to 2-0 to Dynamic Esports, and they take the first spot in the qualifiers for the main event goals. What do you make of this performance coming out of Dynamic? Commiserations to Online Kingdom, by the way.
Yep, they'll get a bye for the first round tomorrow for their efforts, but they start their journey again. But I mean, commiserations to Online Kingdom, but you got to say the performance coming out of Dynamic Esports, new organization, new CS roster, and ultimately they come and they establish that they are one of the top contending teams in local CSGO.